folks, this is Graham Walker coming to you live from the Leeds First Direct Arena, and we've got something very, very special to tell you about today. In fact, the secret's out. These guys embrace the Yorkshire chart-topping indie rockers. They're back, and they're going to be back here at Leeds First Direct Arena in March 2020. Not only that, playing this massive homecoming gig that they're also going to be playing Manchester O2 Victoria Warehouse with something very, very special. They're actually going to be performing songs from the Goodwill Out and Out of Nothing. And to tell us all about it, I'm absolutely delighted to say that my special guest today, we've actually got Richard and we've got Danny. Hiya guys.
Hello there.
Hi there.
We're delighted too.
How's things?
Yeah, very good.
Great.
It's massive, innit? I walked in and I was like, I've changed my mind. Oh my God.
Well,
It's
listen,
huge.
this isn't the first time you've actually played here. I mean, this is going to be special. But just tell me, I think, were it last year at the Tour de France,
yeah.
where you did the
Tour de Yorkshire,
It was a few years ago now, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that 2014, was it?
Yeah,
15?
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
2014,
It's like
I think
a
it
worldwide
was, yeah.
audience of about 23 million or something.
Yeah, no pressure.
Billion.
Well, the fact is you are going to be coming back here, and we just want to remind everybody again that you're actually going to be back here for something really special. So just tell us about it, and tell us also tickets are going on sale.
Yeah, today, pre-sale today, and the main tickets go on sale on Friday. And yeah, we're going to be playing Out of Nothing and The Goodwill Out, which are our two biggest albums. And yeah, it should be great. I'm really looking forward to it. All the hits,
Playing
really.
all the best ones from those two albums.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, what we think are the best ones anyway.
yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that. I mean, obviously you've had 7 studio albums, you've had 3 number ones, so I might ask you
Yeah.
what's going to happen to the other album. But in terms of all the hits you've had, it's hit after hit, and I'm guessing that fans are going to love hearing the 2 big classic albums that you got there. But what else, are you going to be playing other hits as well, or are you just sticking? Is it those 2?
It's just those 2 albums, yeah. We'll probably be playing about 18 or 20 songs, so we want to get as much of those 2 albums in as possible. Yeah, so all the best ones from those 2 albums, definitely.
Well, I've got the iconic looking images here as well of the albums that we're putting up to remind everybody of the Goodwill Out and Out of Nothing. I just want to obviously talk about those albums. Before we go any further though, I just want to say something else. Actually, you know what? Tickets are on sale on Friday.
Yeah,
and
there's a pre-sale today.
And there's a pre-sale today. But if
This
you
is
go,
all news to me, Graham, by the way.
If you go on to Gigs and Tours,
You're great with that quick reminder, aren't you?
I am. If you're going to, I'm a quick reminder. I'm not going to get you a blind date, but I'm going to get you a quick reminder. So gigsandtours.com is a place to go. But also, if you're after tickets for Manchester, that's academymusicgroup.com. We'll put the details up here. And we've also got, obviously, for the big homecoming in Yorkshire, we've got the www.firstdirectarena.com as well. But
You're good with all the details, aren't you?
well, somebody's got to remember all this.
Yeah. I didn't even know all
glad
that.
you're here.
But what I do want to say is that if you want to win a pair of tickets to go see the Goodwill Out and Out of Nothing,
competition.
then share and like this post, folks, and we'll pick a winner before the tickets officially go on sale. So if you've not won, you'll know that you've got to get your hand in your pocket and buy them. You've got to come and watch this. It's going to be a magnificent gig. So like and share this post for your chance to win those tickets. So listen, why should people try to win, and more importantly, why should they buy tickets? What have you got in store for fans? Explain to me a little bit about what the shows are going to look like.
Well, it's going to be the biggest 2 albums that we've done, and I think the fans' favourites albums. Yeah. And I guess sometimes when you go to a big show by a band in an arena like this, you kind of half expect them to do a lot of the hits, but more often than not, they tend to play the new album front to back and then tag a couple of hits on at the end, you know.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of songs that we haven't played for a really long time. Like
it's a guarantee that we're going to kind of do all the best ones, really.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about them, because I'll just remind everybody again. These are the two iconic albums, the number ones that you're going to be doing. Let's just first of all let's just talk about the Goodwill Out. I mean, what an amazing. I think it was the fastest selling debut album of any British artist at the time. Certified gold on the day of release. And then it went on to sell over 500,000 copies in the UK. I mean, it's unheard of these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
And top 10 singles, All You Good People, Come Back to What You Know, and My Weaknesses, None of Your Business. I mean, it was just an amazing album, wasn't it? Just, what's your fondest memories of that time?
Well, it all sort of happened. It's kind of, we waited for years and years and years, worked really hard for years, and then it all happened overnight. It's that kind of cliche, because the album was really difficult to make, and we sort of made it while we were on tour, while we were like doing all the sort of press and TV stuff, and then we'd get like a day here or a weekend there or whatever where we weren't on tour, and we'd go in and work on the album. So we were working pretty much every hour God sends, and it was really, really difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of quite a lot of really hard-working kind of bad memories.
Yeah,
But I think the best ones are kind of the ones where you go into a room and there's 50 people holding violins and cellos, and there's choirs, and everyone's playing your song, and when you first hear it like that, that kind of takes your head off a little bit.
Yeah. The favourite thing I remember was when we were working on Fireworks. We were in a studio in London, and it was we had that cello bit at the beginning of Fireworks, but we didn't have a cello, and just remember saying, we want to put a cello here, and they rang the guy up at about 7 o'clock at night, and it came down at about 10 o'clock at night, and we recorded it about midnight, and we did it live, the front, just piano, me singing and the cello all at the same time, and it was just really, really magical. It just sounded, the cello just sounded amazing, and so you've sort of got like little memories of that, but the main memory is how painful it was to make it, because it's really, really difficult. And now, like, when I listen back, I just feel really proud of it. Like, all the hard work was worth it, because it sort of has lasted the test of time. Some of the faster songs sound a bit 90s, I think, but most of the tracks on there sound really fresh to me, and so I'm really proud of it.
And do you know what? I want to just take you back. There's no such thing as an overnight success, is there? And I think you were about 8 years. Formed a band before you got that debut album out.
Yeah.
I just want to take you back, Richard, to being in an outbuilding at the bottom of the garden in Bailiff Bridge, and if people don't know where that is, it's near Brighouse, and it's just between Huddersfield and Bradford.
Yeah,
that's where it all began, isn't it?
We used to have like what we called the storeroom, which was a room which was attached to the back of the garage, and it was kind of fallen off a little bit. There was like a 2-inch gap between that and the wall of the garage, which was stuffed with egg boxes, because we thought that soundproofed rooms back in the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't, by the way.
It doesn't. It just makes the room itself dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Doesn't
stop
really
your
do that
neighbours
either.
from being able to hear you.
But looks good.
No, it looked terrible. So I've got photographs somewhere.
And we had a little stage that we put in.
We had a hairbrush on a broomstick.
On a broomstick, because we didn't have
for
a
Danny
microphone
to sing into.
And we didn't know what like having a guitar in tune meant, because we didn't have a tuner.
The neighbour
And
bought us a tuner, didn't she?
it would also be like a really posh day if you had all 6 strings on the guitar. There'd usually be like 4 or 5 at the most.
Right.
It was right in the middle of like an avenue as well, like an estate where the garage kind of backed onto 8 people's other back gardens. So it was like there was no separation or anything. It was just
No one ever
like making a
complained, though,
complete racket at the bottom of the garden.
I don't know if that's just nice neighbours or what, but no one ever whinged, did
It
they?
was terrible. It was bad.
But and remind people as well, I'm talking to Richard and Danny McNamara, your brothers. And so I suppose this
it was the family storeroom.
It was the family storeroom, yeah.
My dad
It was
used to have
meant
it
to
as
be
an
an office for my dad, but it was sort of cold down there. He never went down there, so we just used it instead.
Yeah.
But I mean, come a long way from an outbuilding
man.
down in Bailiff Bridge
You could probably
to
fit Brighouse
Leeds
into this
Arena.
building.
Yeah, it didn't happen overnight though, did it? I mean, that was going back about 30 years.
Yeah, it didn't come out of a box, mate. My life.
Did you ever expect though that back in those days,
I think we started it with an absolute solid belief that it was going to be a success, and I was going to add earlier on when Danny was talking about the goodwill out and how it felt like a lot of struggle. When we actually got the success, it kind of just felt like another stepping stone along the way that was expected. So we didn't really appreciate it for what it was at the time. Whereas now,
it was like we've got a number 1 album. It's like, yeah, that's right. Right, what's next?
Yeah, playing here now. It's kind of we've kind of run the roller coaster. We've had the success and then completely lost it, and then got the success back without nothing, and this new day, and then kind of lost it again. And now it seems to be,
Yeah, this is like our second or third
it's
comeback.
that third win. Yeah.
Well, it is.
And we had our first comeback with the first album because the EPs did really well and everybody was wondering where we'd gone, and we took ages doing the first album, so it's probably our third comeback this.
Comeback kings.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that
Like Muhammad Ali.
there was obviously that the break that you had there around about, I think, was it about 2004, something like
5,
that.
6, yeah, it was after the fifth album. Yeah.
And then, but out of nothing in 2004 when you came back with that,
Yeah.
I mean, what a great album. So I'm just going to remind people the track listing of it all as well there. And just a little bit about that. I mean, 600,000 copies sold, double platinum.
It did better than the first album, which
and it's
really
also
amazed us. We couldn't believe it, After the first album doing so well, to the second album not doing as well, then the third album we got dropped, to then like with the fourth album come back and be bigger than we've ever been was pretty amazing. And
yeah, that was amazing.
we were doing a secret gig with some fans. We'd got Mick had to get a day job in that gap, and the person who he was working with, a guy called Tony, had this really posh yacht, and he was like, do you want to do a gig on there? And we were like, okay, well, can we do it as a secret gig and invite some fans out? And so we did. We sort of had this massive blag, and we got like half a dozen fans, and we did this gig on this yacht in Spain, in the water, in the marina. Obviously, if you're on a yacht, you're going to be in water, right?
Yeah, don't jump into a marina, folks.
Yeah.
That's a really bad idea.
And it was just this, and then while we were out there, we got the phone call, your album's gone to #1, and we were just like absolutely amazed. That was, when people say like, what is like one of the best feelings you've ever had being in a band, that was one of the best feelings ever, because we just from the journey that we'd been on, and now it's sort of feeling the same again. Like we've been. We've been big and then we've been small, and now it's coming back and we're playing places like this. It's just like, it's amazing, to do that after being at it over 25 years.
It is something, we did ask people to send in some questions, and we'll come down to those in a minute, but I did want to ask you about that. You've had a spectacular year, haven't you? I mean, you've been selling out everything. I just want to remind people that earlier on this year, you had a big tour in March. Everything went.
Yeah.
And then you put on sale, I think it was Alexandra Palace in London for December.
Yeah, 2 nights. Yeah.
Both gone.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
And then the Peace Hall as well.
And the Peace Hall, which were just looked amazing. But that's got to have been one of the big reasons, wasn't it, for putting on these gigs in Manchester and Leeds?
Yeah, they just the promoters just keep bringing us bigger gigs to do, and you just hope that they know what they're doing, because when they booked the Peace Hall, we were like, you go down there and look at it like we did when we did the Millennium Square, and we're like, this is enormous, there's no way, and then it sold out in a couple of weeks, so it's just incredible.
You have played here before, we've mentioned that, when you did the Tour de France.
Yeah.
But I mean, how special is this going to be? What, any headlining, playing 2 of your biggest albums?
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing that you dream of when you're a kid. When we started the band, I always used to pretend I was either Jim Kerr or Ian McCulloch or Bono, and you imagine that you're in some big arena giving it the big I am. Well, look, I'm going to be doing it. It's like, whoa, it's like childhood dream stuff,
I just want to come back to this Out of Nothing, the second album, because Danny, I read somewhere that you actually had a bit of a struggle making this album, didn't you? I think with the producer at the time, you didn't kind of quite get it at first.
Well, they're all hard. Like the first album is still probably the hardest, but Out of Nothing is probably the second hardest, and that a lot of that was. We clashed a lot with Youth. Youth is an incredible guy. I love the guy.
He's worked a lot with Paul McCartney.
Yeah. He's one of my favourite people on the planet, but he really pushes you. And when you feel like you're right about something, you dig your heels in. The thing was, like, we'd argue with him, but 90% of the time he was right.
Yeah.
And for instance, putting the Fort of the Floor drum beat underneath Ashes. When he originally did that, I wasn't sure about it, because I thought it was this big gospel song, kind of like the Goodwill Out, and it does sound nice like that, but it's so much better with the Fort of the Floor drum beat under it. But we just argue about technical stuff like that, and a lot of arguing about lyrical stuff, and it just really pushed us, and we like to think that we push ourselves harder than anyone else, and Youth went, oh my beer, you know what I mean? So we worked with them again. We worked with them on the next album, and that did really well.
Yeah.
And then after that, we sort of felt like, we'd kind of learnt what he was going to bring to the table, and we could kind of do it ourselves. But I would love to work with him again at some point in the future, because he's a great guy, really good.
I do want to mention one other album as well, and that is This New Day. I mean, you're other number one. Maybe come back and play the arenas again and do that as another gig.
To see what the promoters say.
Yeah.
Because some great material on that as well. One of the big songs I've got to mention, I think somebody mentions it in question, is the Coldplay song that was written for you as
Gravity,
well. Gravity by Chris Martin, and of course that's on the album Out of Nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that come about? Chris Martin from Coldplay writes you a song.
They supported us when we played.
Hang on. Well, let's get this right. They supported you.
Yeah. When we played, I think it was Blackpool Tower Ballroom or Empress Ballroom, one of those two. And I thought they were great. A friend gave me their EP, and so we put them on. And my dad went and got them. I don't normally watch support bands, because I'm usually sort of getting myself ready for us playing. I went to see him, and I just thought they were great. And then my dad went and grabbed him, and we were having a chat backstage afterwards, and we just really clicked. I remember we were like giving each other all our different phone numbers, and we both had about 15 different phone numbers back then. Like, this is my mum's, this is my girlfriend's, this is blah blah blah. And yeah, we'd just been friends ever since. So that's like, I don't know, 15, 20 years now. And I remember he played me Gravity, and I think we were. This is a weird one. We were on top of Angelina Jolie's spaceship.
I wonder what you were going to say for a minute.
Yeah. There was a film called Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow being filmed in Pinewood Studios, and there was this big spaceship model. Obviously, it's not really a spaceship. You can't really fly it, but it looked like one. And we were on top of that and playing each other's songs. I played him Ashes, and he really loved that, and he was playing me some other stuff on his album. And I heard Gravity, and I loved it. And then for one reason or another, it ended up not being a track that was going to be on their new album, and so he rang me up, and he was really nervous about it. He was really sort of embarrassed about it, and his wife at the time, Gwyneth, was in the background saying, "Go on, ask him, just ask him." I was like, "Ask me what?" He's like, "I'm really you don't have to say yes. Like, if you don't want to do it, it's fine." And he said, "I've got Gravity. Do you want to use it? Do you want to have it? Because I'd love for you to have it, because it's been inspired by you guys, and we're not going to use it. So do you want it?" And initially, because we'd worked so hard on Out of Nothing, initially I was like, I wasn't sure. So I thought, I'll take it to the band, see what they say. And everybody in the band's like, "Well, our album's finished now. We don't want to ride on the tails of Coldplay or whatever." We said, "Well, let's record it, see how it goes." And we recorded it with Youth, and it just sounded amazing.
Not a bad move, was it?
Yeah, I mean, we just thought, this sounds great. But then when I played it to Chris afterwards, he was like, "Is this the finished version?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, it sounds too fast. Like, I'm not sure. Is there enough bass on it?" And he was really like,
So you were like a proud parent. He wanted to see his child grow properly.
And Gwyneth was like, "No, man, this sounds massive. You can hear it all over the radio. This is going to be great." So she was really supportive and enthusiastic, and he wasn't sure.
Yeah. I think it was one of the tracks, wasn't it? One of the big tracks that it obviously wasn't first album, wasn't setting up. But a lot of people got into Embrace around that time. I think it did you well.
Yeah, I think on that album, Gravity and Ashes was sort of the big tracks. Yeah, it was. It's amazing how it all started happening again and at the radio.
We have got a question actually about that track, and I'll bring it in to play really quickly. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that's watching us online, and I want to shout out to a few people. So we've got Alex Leatherland, who says, "My kids are going to be attending their first Embrace gig at Leeds."
Hello, Alex.
8 and 6, and they've been pestering to go for ages. So there you go, young fans.
Bring the average age down a bit.
Lots of other people are jumping on to send us messages as well. So thanks for all that. We did ask earlier if people got questions for you. So let me cut to the Gravity one first. We'll get that out of the way. Richard Jones at R.I. Jones 1976 says, "Coldplay gifted you Gravity. Which of your songs would you gift them back to record?" That's a great question.
Yeah.
Probably Drawn from Memory.
Yeah, I was going to
think.
say that actually. That's Great Minds Think Alike.
I think Drawn from Memory is the one that Chris always sang whenever he came down to the
Yeah,
studio.
he really likes Drawn from Memory a lot.
She's on the second album.
He says he's wished he'd written it. And,
Did he?
and,
Right, well, perhaps we ought to get him recording it then, didn't we?
Yeah,
Well, he's very welcome to if he's
Yeah.
listening.
Right, there you go,
Yeah,
Chris.
Chris, if you want to record it, that's fine by me. You're all right with that, are you? That's 2 out of 5 of Embrace are all cool with it.
We've got at Betty Gaze. She says, "Did you think the band would still be around after 20 years? Is there a venue you haven't played that would be on your bucket list? And what's your favourite Embrace B-side?" So there's 2 or 3 questions
I
there.
don't
Richard, go on.
I don't think I ever knew how long we were going to last. I kind of knew it's what I was always going to do, but I don't think I've ever kind of put a stop date on it really.
No. You don't imagine that you're still going to be doing it when you're nearly 50. I mean, I'm like, am I 47? 48?
You wish you were 47.
Yeah, I don't even know how old I am. I'm that old. It's like
Hey, when
Barrymore,
you're
innit?
enjoying yourself,
I
it's
was
age is
expecting
a
a round of
number.
applause when I say my age.
Well, I think Mick Jagger's about 76, so you've still got a fair way to go.
Yeah.
So the
Favourite B-side's probably
I remember
Madeline for me.
someone saying that bands tend to last about 5 years, and it really got a really sinking feeling. Dave Creffield saying bands last about 5 years these days. I'm like,
Yeah, we had no
What would I do
idea
after
of the
that,
sort of transient nature of music. When you're doing it, you think it's going to last forever. It's
just think
very,
we're gonna be
very
Rolling
rare
Stones or
that
U2.
bands with exactly the same lineup. I mean, Radiohead have done it, but like there aren't really many bands who've done it without lineup changes whatever. It's pretty amazing, really.
All right, well, listen, moving on, and before I do that, just remind everybody, we're here promoting the Goodwill Out and Out of Nothing, the songs from the 2 #1 iconic albums from Embrace. We're going to be performing them live at Manchester O2 Victoria Warehouse on Friday, the 6th of March, and here, a massive homecoming in Yorkshire at the Leeds First Direct Arena on Saturday, 14th of March 2020. Tickets go on sale 9 o'clock Friday morning. We'll be putting the ticket line details up. There's a link on this post. Don't miss this gig. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And if you do want to try and win a pair of tickets before they go on sale, like and share this post. Tell all your friends about it. Let's just nip over, and I've got some more questions here. We've got Tom, who goes under the at Belfast Black Cat, so I guess we know where he's from. Which song or album gave you most pleasure in recording?
Ooh, pleasure in recording. That's probably Drawn from Memory, because we had like we just hired this mansion in the middle of nowhere, and had parties every weekend where we'd invite everyone down. This big old mansion had like 400 rooms in it or whatever. It was crazy. So we just had like this crazy sort of Led Zepp style 70s indulgent time there.
that was probably the most fun recording album wise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you
Albums generally aren't fun. I don't know if you're getting that. They're hard work, really hard work. The last album though was felt really natural and felt really I'm not saying pain free, but because we had the songs before we went in, it was more natural, felt more instinctive, felt better song wise. When they come really quickly, so something like Maybe I Wish or something, one of the songs on one of the EPs.
I've got Julie Coates, Pasty Stone, saying Out of Nothing is an amazing album. Which is your favourite track? So I'll tell you what, we could. I suppose it's a bit difficult. It's like picking your favourite child, isn't it? Sometimes when you think about something.
I really like Ashes. I think Ashes is great.
Yeah, Ashes for me.
Yeah.
And if we were good to say of the your debut album, what would be
Goodwill Out? I like the title track.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with either of those folks. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about as well is in terms of the visuals of the show. Now I'm going to put some pictures up here so people can just see some of this. These confetti cannons that you fire.
Yeah.
They're almost synonymous with you guys.
Yeah,
now.
it's a new thing. We just recently started doing it.
So I guess we're going to get all this to the max, isn't it?
Yeah.
I expect so. Yeah. If we're allowed to.
They didn't tell us they were going to do it. So the first time that they did it on that tour, we were all really surprised. Or certainly I was. Like, it just exploded about 2 feet away from me and all this stuff. I was like, what's that? And then, I'd sort of like looking at the monitor guy, and they're all laughing because they knew I had no idea. But yeah, I love it.
And this doesn't just come at the end of the gig, does it?
It did do. It's probably going to be all the way through the next gig.
Well, again, they didn't at the Peace Hall. They didn't tell us they were going to do it in the first song.
It's straight at the beginning.
It keeps surprising us. So,
How are you going to top this?
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep buying more and more of
And
it.
the other thing that really caught my eye, I saw that some of the confetti went on sale on eBay. Now, I don't know if that were to do with you guys for charity, but so I'm thinking if everybody collects the confetti, they might be able to raise money for charity.
I was cleaning up my pedal box and I just found it all in there, and I kind of felt like it. I don't know, like it had some energy or something, so I put it in a bag and then.
Yeah.
And what it's for some homeless,
good vibes
some homeless charities.
Yeah, it's the one big family charity that some of our more.
And it went for about £66, I think, which was just
for some like
memorabilia is amazing, isn't it? These days, you know and talking of which, I guess that you're going to have some great kind of keepsake stuff as well, the merchandise.
Yeah, Mickey Dale, our keyboard player, he takes care of all. He takes care of all the merch and stuff. So there'll be some. I'm sure there'll be some great new stuff for the gigs, definitely.
I did notice that you actually put out a live version, didn't you, of the debut album as well, and that's available if people want to kind of whet their appetite.
Yeah, we recorded it at the Roundhouse, and that was a really, really special gig. The atmosphere there was amazing. I mean, that whole tour, we were sort of surprised at the atmosphere every night. Was just, when we were doing like the first few gigs on the tour, we were like, this is amazing. We're in the middle of nowhere, and everyone's really going for it already. Imagine what it's going to be like when we get to Glasgow or Manchester, and it just took off. It was amazing.
And I suppose you know what, anywhere you play, you get there's such an energy about your music. The crowds get it. You have them jumping and bouncing. It's just terrific.
We do our best, don't we?
Just amazing.
Aim to please.
But I mean, when you do play Yorkshire, like when you played at the Peace Hall, and I guess when you're going to be playing here at Leeds First Direct Arena, there's got to be a very special element about that.
I think there's a sense of like regional pride that comes from gigs that we do around here. But I think Yorkshire, there's a piece of Yorkshire followers wherever we are in the world. There's always somebody shouting Yorkshire.
Yeah,
back,
we've had it we've
Japan
done gigs in Thailand. Like someone shouted out, "Oh, this field."
You're on stage, you're like,
but you like the interaction as well, don't you? I mean, I know you get mum and dad to stand up, don't you? And sing happy birthday to family.
That's easier said than done, but
yeah, they're like in their 70s now, but they come to the local gigs and. Yeah, all the family.
They must be awfully proud of you and everything that you've achieved.
My dad got these headphones with like little antennas on, and like a built-in radio when we started out, and he used to just wear them all day. And every time Radio 1 plays, he'd go, "You're on the radio again, Dan," and then he'd just listen to it. I'm going to see what they say. Oh, he's not said out. Useless. He's just gone straight to the bloody track.
Brilliant. All right, well listen, I'm just going to finally just remind everybody again that you're playing Manchester 2 Victoria Warehouse on Friday 6th of March, and then you've got this massive Yorkshire homecoming here at Leeds First Direct Arena on Saturday March the 14th next year. Tickets go on sale at 9 o'clock on Friday morning, so you've got to get them, guys. If you don't, you're not going to see these two fantastic albums being played in their entirety, and the atmosphere as well is just terrific at any Embrace gig. I was talking to my good friend John McClure from Reverend the Makers, who I know has been supporting you recently.
Yeah, they're great.
And he was just saying that you're one of the few bands that he'll always go out his way for. You're just a great live band as well as making.
Well, they are as well. I mean, they're having a resurgence now as well. So it's a real honour to have them.
Well, it's great to see you both having the resurgence. I mean, you've been around 21 years now in terms of making records. A lot longer in terms of actually being out there and playing. What would you
journeyman.
Journeyman. What would you like to say directly to all the fans who've been following you over all these years?
It's just we never take it for granted. I mean, like we said in the very beginning, we used to think, oh yeah, number one album, right? What's next? And we did take it for granted. But now, having been on the roller coaster that we've been with, all the ups and downs and getting dropped and then coming back, we just appreciate everything so much more now, and we're enjoying it so much more as well. Like we get on, the five of us, we just get on so well, and to have those fans, and we recognise all the faces whenever we come out.
No, most of them by name, I think.
And it's just incredible the support that we've had, and we'll never take it for granted. We're always really amazed by it, how how loyal and supportive they've been.
Yeah, and they're turning out and they're selling out the shows, which is just amazing, isn't it? I mean, well, it's not always good. I expect them to, but it's just fantastic. It's
good. It's kind of a lot better than we could have ever have expected.
Yeah.
Especially after being away for so long, and also like we don't really get that much radio play or press anymore because they want to play the
It's difficult. Indie music's difficult to combat with the normal general pop of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to have had all the top 10, top 20 albums and number ones and everything is just great.
Yeah.
I knew a few people have been saying, "Oh, you're not playing my town."
We always get that, don't we?
So you're always going to get it. But what's coming up for 2020? Have we got anything else in store?
Well,
Anything
there'll probably be some festivals, but it's just these 2 gigs for now, and then we'll see how it goes. Take it from there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And more recordings?
Yeah. We've already got sort of a handful of really great tracks for album 8. It's 8 now, isn't it?
I suppose "Love Is a Basic Need" is it's recent anyway.
Yeah, that's album 7. Yeah.
7, yeah.
Yeah, we've recorded some demos already. Sounding great, so yeah.
Excellent. I think you had 500 tracks to pick from on your.
We had a list of
10 albums.
Yeah, that was for out of nothing, wasn't it?
The thing is, you
500 rubbish tracks.
What happens to all the other 490 songs?
They're not necessarily finished, so there'll be like 500 ideas and seeds.
Not necessarily
for songs.
good either.
So it's like, might have a great chorus, but it's got no verse yet.
Yeah.
So for instance, Someday, famously, we had for like over 10 years we had the verse to that before we got a chorus for it. So it's just it's there's that there, and then if you get a chorus that'll drop in on one of them, then that becomes a finished song and we can bring that in. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, I could speak to you all afternoon. It's been absolutely fascinating. What a great career you've had so far.
I know.
And what great things to follow as well. I'm just going to remind everybody what it's going to look like with all that confetti billowing out into the air, and
have you got an app?
No doubt people will be taking it home with them.
I wonder if
and
they'll
putting it on
if
eBay.
we do the confetti in here, if they'll whinge, because it looks really nice.
Do you know what? We'll have a word with them while we're down here.
Yeah. Just clear it with them. Yeah.
All right, folks. So please remember to like and share this post. I'm just going to remind you again. Tickets on sale 9 o'clock on Friday morning. This is to see Embrace performing songs from the Goodwill Out and Out of Nothing, and it's going to be at Manchester O2 Victoria Warehouse Friday 6th of March, and then the big one for all us fans here in Yorkshire for the big homecoming is going to be Leeds First Direct Arena on Saturday 14th of March. Just before we do go, I just want to mention as well, you've got a couple of really good support acts on with you, haven't you? Star Sailor and Kodu, I think, are the Leeds band. What can you tell people about those two?
Well,
I know
Kodu,
you've
local
worked with them
boys.
before.
Mick has played keyboards in them. Has he played bass? Did he play bass for him?
I'm not sure actually.
Maybe a bit of both. And Star Sailor, we went on tour with them in America a few years ago, and we just got along really well. And I think they're a fantastic band. Good Souls is one of the best songs of the last 20 years. So
absolutely.
Having them agree to support us is
I did a tour with them once actually. I played guitar for them on a tour.
Did you really?
Once. Yeah. A few years ago, be like end of 2016, I think it was.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's the day job.
They got some really intricate chords, and had a pad full of chords at the front of the stage, which.
And you worked on their album with them as well, didn't you?
Stel, the bass player, nicked off me one night before I went on stage, and I probably scared the life out of me. But yeah, produced their last album.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen. Thank you ever so much for your time. I'm just going to leave everybody with the that wonderful little teaser trailer that you've done as well, which shows what fans can really expect.
Yeah, that's a load of highlights from the Pete's Hall gig, so it was really good. So.
All right. So again, guys, thanks for your time. We can't wait to see you down here.
Cheers, Graham.
Great. Looking forward to it.
So there you go. We've just been talking there, as you see, to Danny and Richard from Embrace, and they're going to be at Manchester and they're going to be at Leeds, and this is what you can expect.
I'm coming back to what you know.